To start it off, I want to clarify that this video is for free-to-play players or those who choose not to pay too much attention on the game's sprite system. I will be ranking the best sprites for each class, which can help you either increase your DPS or make it tankier, or just determine the best for your class in general. I will be mentioning sprites that only need sprite cubes in the first part of the video. Then I will proceed with the purple sprites that require sprite chains. To start it off, for the rare uncommon pets for Omni Knights would be the Mandrake. At max level, Mandrake's active skill instantly heals the player's HP and mana by 20%. So the more HP you have, the more HP this can heal you. Thanks, just become tankier. The next best pet would be the Clay Golem for Omni Knights, as its active skill is a damage reduction and a heal over time that scales off attack. Going to the Shadow Assassin, uncommon to rare battle pets vary, but the pet that best suits damage types would be the ones who help you burst down your enemies. And the best pet for this would be the Earth Omen. Not only it has the highest single target damage multiplier, it also stuns your enemies for 2 seconds. The Jade Insect would be a fun sprite for the Shadow Assassin as well, as your attacks have a chance to poison enemies when you activate this active skill. Everyone likes to see dot damage on their enemies. Same principle applies to Rune Mages. Burst is the way to go with these classes. So Earth Omen would still be the best rare pet for Rune Mages, and maybe Badger for finisher attacks. Try to play around their skills, or you can just use both. Holy Priests come in two different modes. They either go into offense or defense with heals. For the offensive side, going Earth Omen would be the best option. Stuns are just very important, especially in PvP. And for the healer ones, going Florafly or Clay Golem would be your best option. Florafly gives you a boost in evasion with its active skill, and Clay Golem gives you damage reduction and HP regen. Now, Elven Archers are versatile. Their skills have passive increase in evasion. Rings a bell? Yes. Floraflies are OP on Elven Archers, as those passive talent tree evasion stats and active skills that give evasion gets multiplied by Florafly's active skill. And for offense, Earth Omen sprite is the way to go as well. Now, here are some honorable mentions that require sprite chains. This means it's closer on the pay-to-win fence, but it's still manageable for free-to-play players in some degree. For the Omni Knight tank class, the best sprite to use or sprite chain would be on the Spike Shells. With an active skill that grants percentage HP shield, and a passive that lets Omni Knights get a reflect buff whenever they are using their skill Roaring Wind, is the best way to go. This means a portion of the damage received will reflect back to the attacker. Going to the Shadow Assassin class, the best pet to capture using your limited sprite chains would be the Crocodile. With an active skill that lets you go on stealth mode for 5 seconds, it makes you hit harder when you go out of stealth mode, and a passive skill that gives you a percentage chance to deal extra damage to enemies when you hit them in melee range. The Crocodile sprite is made for assassins for sure. It's rare to see sprites that increase your class's specific skill damage percentage. But for Rune Mages, bursting enemies is what they are good at. So, use your sprite chains on Tankier Stalkers, and get an active skill that stuns enemies and possibly increases your Firebolt and Arcane Blast skills damage by up to 12% at max level. Now it gets a little tricky for Holy Priests, as they switch from offense to pure healers depending on what's best for the party, or if they just decide to run solo. In my opinion, when going the DPS route, Holy Priest should use Thunder Beast, as their skills trigger off on each other with its pet's passive, and also has an offensive attack in its active skill. Now going to the healer route, the Holy Priests are best to use Mandrakela. Her passive skill increases healing and gives you a defense stat every time you are healed. Not sure if it's stackable though, and an AoE CC active skill to go with it. Lastly, for the archer's best use of sprite chains, I'm looking at the Blast Goblin. Blast Goblin's passive skill gives your archer Chain Shot skill a percentage chance to launch a fire element attack that ignores a percentage amount of your enemy's defense, and also an active skill that does AoE damage. And for honorable mentions, the best sprite to use your sprite chain would be Trent. In my opinion, Trent is the best all-around defensive epic sprite. Being able to immobilize enemies in range and get a passive HP regen and armor buff when critically hit is the best all-around sprite. And a little tip when you are going PvP. Make sure you include a Rumbler and a Warbler in your sprite wheel, as they give passive damage increase and damage reduction against humanoid type enemies, meaning other players. Well, that's it for this brief guide on free-to-play battle pets. Hope this guide was helpful to you. See you soon!